going on, Jerome? So after Drake Maye had his absolutely phenomenal pro day, but then again, who has a bad pro day except for Teddy? But the Vikings certainly are looking to add their quarterback of the future, and trading up is certainly a distinct possibility. And Marcus Mosher, an NFL draft writer, Dallas Cowboy apologist over at the 33rd team, did just that for the Vikings. And I really like the way this mock draft played out because, you know, it's obviously it's very hard to predict, you know, what's going to happen in round one, and one trade or one surprise pick can completely flip the script for the round. But it's kind of nice what's going to happen here. So 1 round mock draft, Caleb Williams at 1, the Commies at 2. So now Dan Quinn was at Drake Maye's pro day, came away very impressed. Sort of. Well, he left after the big time throw and was just like, I've seen enough. Whatever. But the whole thing about it too is that that Jaden Daniels should be in the mix for the Commanders, and of course Brian Kelly, he was just like, Jaden's gonna do a good job distributing for Washington. Oops. But Jaden Daniels also had himself a phenomenal pro day, and given his dual threat ability, although obviously he's not RG3, but there's some concerns there with the durability, especially with what happened with Robert in Washington, and also the fact that they took him at 2 in 2012, which is just kind of funny, man. But I really like Jaden Daniels, man. And frankly, I really like Jaden Daniels. I really like Drake Maye. I really like J.J. McCarthy. I really like the upside of Michael Penix Jr., where it's exactly what O'Connell said, fall in love with multiple quarterbacks. So that way you won't be disappointed, because there's lots of people. And again, not policing the way that you should be a fan, but I feel like if you go all in, be like, this team needs Jaden Daniels. If they take anyone else, it will be a bust. Or they need Drake Maye. If they take anyone else, they're going to be very poopa. They need J.J. McCarthy. If they don't do that, they're never going to win a Super Bowl. We've been there. But I have an open, free your mind, and the rest will follow. So the Commies take Jaden at 2. Trade alert. So the Vikings get 3 and 137. I believe that's at the ass end of the 4th round, or it's top of the 5th. One of the two. I'm just doing math. Yeah, doesn't matter. Anyways, Patriots receive 11-23 and a 2025 first round pick. Now, we had said that is our Alamo. That's our fallback. Like, we would ideally like to keep the 2025 first round pick. Now, our guy Thor Nystrom has pointed out, hey, what if the Vikings suck? And then that first round pick is obviously going to be very valuable. I don't necessarily see the Vikings sucking. Like, even with Darnold, even with rookie quarterback TBD, there'll be a team in flux. But I honestly see the Vikings next season a team a lot like the Texans, especially the way that Flores is going to retool that defense, and the offense with JJ and Addison should be good to go. So I ain't too scared, but ideally I would like to trade up and not give up that future first. But I think that you can trade up to 4 or 5 without giving away the first. I don't think that you can get to 2 or 3 without the first. So pay the cost to be the boss. So we trade up. Again, Drake Maye, North Carolina, come on and raise up. This is what Marcus wrote. Fit. It's no secret that the Minnesota Vikings are trying to get a quarterback, which is why they've already acquired an extra first-round pick. While the Patriots need a quarterback, they're also entering stage 1 of the rebuild. They need more draft capital and multiple first-round picks. The Vikings have had one of the most gifted quarterbacks in the nation. Drake Maye has fantastic size and a great arm, but don't underestimate his athleticism. He needs to speed up his release and improve his decision-making, but he couldn't ask for a better situation than being paired with Kevin O'Connell in terms of fit. This is probably the best of the top 3 quarterbacks, and it really does come down to fit, where I feel like all of these guys, I think that there could be potentially 5-6 like solid caliber starting quarterbacks, and a couple of superstars definitely mixed in there as well. But it does all come down to fit. And frankly, if the Bears fail Caleb Williams, I mean, they have done a relatively good job on paper surrounding him with talent, which they certainly did not with Justin Fields. And the Commies, I mean, I like Scary Terry, but boy, everything else, I don't know, man. But the Vikings, so Marcus talked about, you know, the fit with Kevin O'Connell, but beyond O'Connell, so you have Josh frickin' McCown, who is noted with his work with quarterbacks, did great things with Sam Darnold, obviously coached Drake Maye in high school. Also, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, and Ty Chandler in that running game. Woo-woo. Also, Darisaw as well as Brian O'Neill. Also, let's not discount. So Sam Darnold can move around a little bit. Same thing with Drake Maye. Now, obviously, Josh Dobbs could move around a little bit, but him and manipulating the pocket wasn't doing the offensive line any favors last season. So now, either with Darnold or with Drake Maye, you have a quarterback who is strong, who can move around the pocket, and ideally is going to get rid of the football on time, on purpose. So that certainly could help the numbers with the offensive line, as well as the offensive line helping out the quarterback. One hand washes the other. So, again, it's very expensive because the Vikings ostensibly gave up the second and a future first and second for this move up, but got to pay the cost to be the boss, man. And the whole thing about like Brandon Beane explaining why they gave up so much draft capital in 2017 to go get Josh Allen. If he's the guy, he's the guy. And Drake Maye, all in. All in. Let's get it done. All right, so then Cardinals take Marvin Harrison Jr. Board just breaks beautifully. Get wide receiver 1, don't have to do anything. Then the Broncos trade up to 5 with the Giants, where the Giants definitely could take J.J. McCarthy in this spot, but the Chargers are trading out for 5 because I'm very smart. Trust me. But the Chargers, so they get 12, 136, and also a 2025 first-round pick. Now, Harbaugh has talked about O-line, O-line, O-line. Now, they could stick and pick and take Joe Alt, but also they could still get a damn good tackle at 12 and also picking up that future first-round pick from the Broncos. And the Broncos might be thank you. That could be a very valuable chit. And also, I mean, I think that they're definitely getting a premium from having to trade in division, which is something that's going to be a storyline in the AFC West next season. But the Broncos come up, J.J. McCarthy, stupid-ass Sean Payton. His love for McCarthy has been very well known, but also, I mean, I know that Harbaugh's not the GM, but I mean, when he just like voices displeasure, is like, I just said J.J. McCarthy is the greatest quarterback in college football history. Now I got to play him twice a year. The Giants take Malik Neighbors. So they can't get a quarterback, is what it is. But I do like Malik Neighbors, and hell, maybe Daniel Jones with a true blue wide receiver 1, maybe something. Joe Alt to Tennessee, I love that, him and Skoronski on that left side protecting the ass of Will Levis. The Falcons, I feel like the Falcons sneakily could be in on quarterback, just for all the reasons why the Vikings would have been on quarterback if they brought back Kurt. But, I mean, Kurt on a 4-year deal with 2.5 of it guaranteed. Nah. But Dallas Turner breaks the seal on defensive players. He goes there. The Bears getting Rome Odunze in the spot. So Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, as well as Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. Ain't bad, man. The Jets getting Brock Bowers. Now, I love me some Tyler Gronklin. Bowers is a game changer. Just his speed, his size, his yards after catch ability, and also the fact that the hip drop tackle is gone. How are you going to tackle Brock Bowers in the open field if you can catch him? It's crazy. So the Patriots, first of 2 picks, so Olu Fashanu headed to New England, so they get their rebuild going at the tackle spot. Talisa Fuaga going to the Chargers. I love that because the whole thing about drafting Alt or Fashanu is like, all right, so are you going to move Slater? I think Rashawn Slater is a damn good left tackle, and Fuaga is a true blue right tackle, and he's a road grader, and he's a monster, and Jim Harbaugh got his dude. I mean, that's a great spot. Terrion Arnold, so very cerebral, very high IQ, very getting after, also a very high character. Cornerback and Terrion Arnold going to the Raiders. They definitely need help on the outside. J.C. Latham going to the Saints. Now, Latham at right tackle could make sense. Well, they could put him at left tackle too because Trevor Penny ain't working out. But Ryan Ramczyk and that knee injury. Colts getting Quinion Mitchell. I love it. Where they were in on L'Jarius Sneed, didn't get him, so they get their shutdown corner. Plus, he's relatively regional, right? Indiana, Toledo, Ohio. It's close enough. Troy Fautanu staying in Washington. Now, Fautanu was a left tackle, probably going to kick inside. He's absolutely physically gifted, great at adjustments, great at agility, and all that stuff. I love him. Jacksonville, BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr. Hey, maybe this receiver will work out. Who knows? But Trevor Lawrence definitely gets himself a physical freak on the outside. Byron Murphy going to the Bengals, where it's really interesting because a lot of Murphy's comps are Geno Atkins. And, of course, Geno Atkins was made famous in a Bengals uniform. Jared Verse goes to the Rams. Now, I think that if Murphy was there, I think that the Rams would have taken him. Jared Verse, absolute power on the outside. And I think that as they retool that defensive line without Aaron Donald, I think Verse is probably a good step there. Also could see Johnny Newton in this spot. Amarius Mims from Georgia, absolute freak show. I mean, some of these tackles are ridiculous, man. But he goes to Pittsburgh. They've been looking for tackle help for many years. Cooper DeJean going to South Beach. Woo, woo. All right, so help at corner, help in the defensive back room. The comps to Honey Badger are certainly there, let alone the punt return ability. So, I mean, the Dolphins got to – I mean, could the Dolphins even use Cooper in some offensive packages? Could see that. You could certainly see Mike McDaniel. You know, the gears are turning up there. Nate Wiggins goes to Philly. I mean, the Eagles definitely need help in that secondary. Wiggins is a sticky cornerback, a little bit undersized, but they'll like him in Philly. The second of the Patriots picks they got from the Vikings, so Chop Robinson on the edge, where I mean, Chop, high motor, getting after things. I do think that production will catch up to the traits, so Chop going to the Patriots. Cowboys, Tyler Guyton heading across the Red River from Oklahoma. And the Cowboys, you know, Tyron Smith went to the Jets. And now Tyler Smith, also from Tulsa, well, the state of Oklahoma. So he could maybe kick out to left tackle, but Guyton's gifted, man. I really like that pick. Graham Barton, hate this pick. Absolutely despise this pick because so it's ironic. So Graham Barton, his comps are is Elton Jenkins. So Graham Barton, freshman, started at center, but then the last 3 years was left tackle at Duke, but doesn't really have the length to be a full-time tackle, but kick him inside to guard or center, and he's going to be a dude. And now Elton Jenkins coming out of Mississippi State was a great center, but they kicked him all around, right tackle, guard, etc., and this sucks. This sucks. So, you know, Graham Barton and Elton Jenkins and also Zach Tom, I mean, they got great pieces along the offensive line, and it's annoying. It's annoying, man. I hate it. Also, hell, I mean, Barton might be the one-for-one replacement at left tackle for Bakhtiari. It's possible. I mean, so, like, short-arm left tackles have done it before. I mean, you look at, I don't know, Joe Staley. Sure. But the Buccaneers, Jackson Powers Johnson, so Ryan Jensen needs a long-term replacement at center. They get one. The Cardinals, Zach Frazier, they get Kyler center of the future. I love that connection. Donovan Mitchell. So, like, I know that Mitchell, like, I want to like him more, right? And, you know, the fact that Mitchell, like, he got some good work at Georgia, he got some good work at Texas, but I don't know, like, is he going to be that guy in Buffalo, especially if they do have to trade Stephon Diggs at some point? Who knows? Lions, so Mike Saintstrow, I think that he's being slept on a lot, and yes, the storylines of keeping him in state is great, but Saintstrow, pound for pound, might be the best corner in this draft. And no one's even talking about him being a first-round pick. But I think that his prowess, I think that him patrolling the slot, I think that him doing a lot of great things out there, it's a really great pickup for the Lions. Plus, him and Brian Branch, in terms of their versatility, damn, man. Ravens, Darius Robinson, edge from Missouri. So, again, the Ravens just reload that front seven. Darius Robinson is a great freak. Like, he can step in 1-for-1 for what they're asking Clowney to do last year. So, I mean, the hell, man. What the hell with the Ravens? And then the Niners, Xavier Worthy. So, speed, freak, yes, setting the record, all that stuff. And, you know, the Niners do need a more vertical threat. But does that sync up with what Purdy does? I don't know. And the fact that Debo is really more of a gadget player that might lose Ayuk. Eventually, they might have to trade him. So, and then getting some long speed in here makes some sense. And the Chiefs, of course, the Chiefs do everything except for draft a wide receiver. But Jordan Morgan coming in from Arizona, nastiness, could play some tackle, could kick inside. Actually, no, he's not going to kick inside because obviously got Thuney and Creed and Trey Smith. So, got him at one of the tackle spots. Oh, they just replaced Donovan Smith. Oh, there you go. But that's it. That is the 33rd team mock draft where the Vikings, they get after it. And, yeah, it's expensive. And, yes, you are betting the future. And, yes, all that stuff. But if Drake Maye pans out on that potential that he saddled with, baby, we got a stew going. And we got a true blue, homegrown 21-year-old future franchise quarterback that can grow and show with the rest of his team. Plus, you have at least 3 years of May on his rookie deal where he can spend all that other cap taking care of Jefferson, taking care of Darisaw, bring in all the free agents, and really making a run at this thing. I mean, the Vikings can really flip this thing around quick. They absolutely can. But that's it. 33rd team mock draft. You guys know what to do. Skull, production value.